The Getfund has been under a new board of trustees since May 2009. Within this period, vital and strategic interventions have been made in response to some challenges of urgent concern through the provision of educational infrastructure at the basic subsector throughout Ghana. In 2009, there were 5,000 schools under trees and dilapidated structures all over the country, in addition to the shift system in some urban schools and towns. The Getfund, in response to government's commitment to deal with this scourge at the basic subsector, considerable resource allocation was made to the basic sector of education, leading to significant changes in the scheme of things. The Getfund authorized the award of contracts to build 1,757 schools to complement the efforts of the Ministry of Education.
But the law itself gives clear instruction that to do educational infrastructure, you must look at historically deprived areas, in our community, in this country, where there have been historical deprivation in terms of providing access to education. The second instruction in the Act is to pay attention to girl-child education. It's against the backdrop where girls enroll at the primary level. There's almost parity between girls and boys. But as people went up the education ladder, the parity drops. Many reasons are accountable for this, including inadequate infrastructure. We found out that upwards of 5,000 schools were operated under trees, or where it's not exactly under tree, but in facilities that were completely very bad, very poor facilities. And we noticed that, yes, if there are many reasons why standards are falling, why and people don't go to school, but it included learning in such depressing infrastructure arrangements or environments. This is the one reason why we decided to focus and target the effort to try and provide what we call 6 classroom block of ancillary facilities to replace this phenomenon of schools under trees.
There is dire need for improvement in educational infrastructure, regardless of distance, access road, or mode of transportation to these communities.
The projects are spread all over, so monitoring was a little bit difficult. Ideally, the contractor is supposed to tell you we are at site or we are moved out of sight, but they won't tell you. So you go to the site and you don't see them. Or when you get there, you meet 1 or 2 craftsmen working. And if you know the north very well, there are sometimes we have language problems. If I go to Bunkrugu, I think they speak Basara or something like that. And you are dealing with illiterate people. How do you communicate with them? So you don't have the same language. And so you just have to use sign language to be able to communicate with them. But the most important thing is that where you go and you don't meet the contractor, it is difficult to leave. When you leave instructions behind, the instructions may not get to him, or when they even get to him, he may not understand them. So that was the first challenge. The second challenge is also the terrain. In some places, you may have to abandon your car and walk. Or you may have to take a boat and cross a river, go do the monitoring and come back. This is particularly interesting when you get to northern region. In the upper west, we don't have a problem like that. In the upper east, we don't have a problem. But in northern region, there are sometimes you have to leave the car somewhere, walk for about 1.5 hours, go and do the work and walk back.
Initially, when we started, when the award letter came, it was around March. So there was no road, access road at all. So we have to go and survey with the local people from Kafaba to get access to Mataiko. So we could send sand and aggregates to the site. So we have to clear some temporary road to that place. So I mobilized about 3 tipper trucks. So immediately we finished, we came and camped here at Kafaba, fetched the sand to Mataiko. In fact, we were doing it throughout the day. Then immediately, the day we finished fetching the quantity we wanted, it rained and there was no access route to Mataiko. So the only alternative we have to do is to bring the materials, then we send it by boat. And sometimes when on our way, it will rain. So part of the cement will get spoiled. Then at times when you give it to the boat owners, because they know you are a contractor, they will charge so much. Because when you bring the cement from Salaga, they have to carry it from the roadside to the riverside. Then when we get to the riverside, I have to pay them to offload it to the site. So most of the cement, sometimes the boats are leaking. So some of the cement will get spoiled.
As a security supervisor, hearing that the package of Getfund was coming to Mataiko, which is part of my security, I said, wow, that is very good. Because anytime I visit Mataiko as part of my security, I always feel very sad. Reasons being that children used to sit under trees and a dilapidated structure, which doesn't order well for effective learning, teaching and learning to take place. So that much, hearing that Getfund was coming to the aid of Mataiko people, I said, thank you very much.
The Getfund's footprint is evident in these areas. They traveled by rivers and in the shops of the forest just to put a smile and meet the educational infrastructural needs of these communities.
When you have as many as 5,000 communities having schools under trees, and you have limited resources, the challenge is how many of these can you do at a time? So we told our district chief executives, give us 4 of your WES schools for this year and give pictures to support that these are indeed very bad schools. So that's how we did. So every year they will select 4 of the WES, then we will look at it and then we'll make the authorization for them to begin to do those things.
Due to the absence of schools in some communities, school children, in their quest to seek for knowledge, had to trek long distances to neighboring communities with schools. Such communities without schools have also seen the erection of new school structures from ground zero to completion.
Baby, I never to school, no, and so any cry.
In your time, Miagiola, a chita kunona. A no school da Kako Bosqua, the Jucata Poto. Marvana, Jijilagara, Rojo Dugama.
In actual fact, when I was posted here as a headmistress, I didn't like the place because of the infrastructure. I really wept.
We have a classroom whereby there are palm branches that we use to cover.
The roofs were leaking, and the deplorable position of the school couldn't allow people even to come. We had low enrollment.
The previous structure was a wooden structure, and one was also a shed.
The floor is dusty, and if there is rain today, we have to close the school because there are no classrooms for the children.
And then some people, we smokers who were harassing us.
Since there are no classrooms, when you are teaching, the children will be looking outside.
And we have adopted another strategy because of the cloudy students. We have adopted multi-grade teaching in the school. When we say multi-grade, we are talking about combining classes together.
We share the class. Only one classroom contained 2 classrooms. So when teaching was going on at another class, it affects the other class as well.
Like class 1, class 2 together, class 3 and 4 together, JSS 1, JSS 2 together. You can imagine using different syllables, teaching students in the same classroom.
Whilst others have understood it, those in the lower class may be finding it very difficult.
that is leading to some of the poor results in this BC result that we are seeing today.
And another way, even because of the absence of the school, the classroom block, where to keep your books, the exercise books, the textbooks, is a problem because there is no classroom, and if you have, even you see the nature of the building, you cannot keep the books there. So
when it is in hot weather, we cannot sit inside the classroom.
There was only 2 rooms. We can't sit and learn, no windows, nothing was there. Even the floor was not cement. If it is raining, we will just close like that. We will not learn again.
It has come to increase in enrollment. It has come to increase in enrollment. So day in, day out, our children are schooling. They are regular and punctual during classes hours.
We used to run a shift system. So with the provision of this structure, it has phased out the shift system, and it has enhanced teaching and learning because the children and teachers likewise have adequate time for the lessons and other extracurricular activity.
Formally, when they finish the P6, they have to walk from here to Asafra, Egypt, Kobransa. They are far. With
the provision of this structure, we are able to have adequate time for instructional hours. We come to school at 7:05 and we close at 1:30. So it means that instructional hours have been extended. Unlike where the shift system was, we come to school at 7, we close at 12. And also we are not even able to monitor the children.
And even at times, some of our students don't used to come in the afternoon. They will be tired, so they don't come.
So it was difficult to track students being punctual to school. But with this, we're able to monitor, and you know that this student is supposed to be in school at this time. So at least that has enhanced teaching and learning, and we're able to track the movement of the students.
We have a conducive environment for teaching and learning.
Yes, it has really expanded. It's really an expanded facility as compared, because we're having just 5 classroom blocks, but now we have at least 11 classroom blocks with a library, an office, and also a storeroom.
Everything is going on well. The teachers are doing their work. The pupils are happy.
So I feel more comfortable when I sit in this class.
It is nice. It has helped me when I'm in. I feel comfortable to learn than the old one, because the old one don't have more desks. This one have more desks, so everybody have one desk. So when I'm sitting on it, I feel comfortable to learn.
When I'm learning, I don't wait for someone to finish and give me the desk. All of us have a desk, so we turn them.
This school is nice than the old one. We have lights in it, so when I sit in, I feel comfortable. When we want to come to learn at evening, we have light there, so it is good for us.
So I think it will help us to keep our books in some staff and office, and the computer library also will help us to improve our learning.
Kamala ekeme nyoke na mala kama fifia agba na mala kama mara na fifia na magala na shijaja no miefu kuli na shijaja fia glamonyo de nse vola glon nta na mala kemala fifia ekeme kama valela nselon kuli na mala ma shimono nyefumo
bi venyekie school hoye ya la ba jemie gbo c'est que tu Getfund togbo gbogbo nya ke mi choduo ka school ho mi la jibe na mi avion na de school ta mi oto mi wo nsedo ye mi tu school ho c'est que nya atakpa me school ho tutua ena be nsemele ho nwozu atakpa me hota na chile jaja ha ko le bi na de avion no wa jo va feme ho va wo fiu le ngenge ta na bi de avion me tento le school sronu o le FV na magbroba ya Getfund to o va miegbo o va po bi o mi jagba to school kodu anyi se o me de mi ji ta ya pele mi hu ko va tu ho na mi ho gwiam ade please store please office ye wo de geti nu ha kan o na de viola school de le me ko nye ji jo gan le nu se kan ye me do hu le hu